Wow, welcome to the African Institute of Leadership and Governance. I'm so excited to have you in class again. Let me know where you are catching me from. Wow, I hope you had a very wonderful weekend and we are back in class. Let me know how your weekend was, and we will progress today. We want to appreciate all our students, our international students that have been with us on this very platform. But we also want to take this time to appreciate our students that have always been logging on from different places and countries. We appreciate each one of you so very much. Remember that we are now looking at module 2 of applied leadership. And so this afternoon or this morning, we are going to single out a lot of important things. Welcome, Miss Mwanza from Zambia, and those that have joined us, different students. And also, we want to appreciate the support that we have from different institutions. Yesterday, we had our graduates from Congo, DRC, share his experiences with us. It was such an amazing, somebody had to travel all the way from DRC to come for his graduation at the university this last Friday, and it was just amazing. So we are looking forward that some of you from other countries, you will also find your time to come and be with us here in South Africa at a particular time where you will be welcomed by our esteemed leaders and our great teams that are always with us, Yes, this is applied leadership. Let's go into class. If I'm too fast, please indicate that I'm too fast. But I'm looking forward to just spend a few more minutes on each subject. So, right now and right away, we are going on, and we make sure that we begin to discuss that which we have been talking about. So there we got it. We have module 1, which we had been looking at last week, and we shared a lot of important things in applied leadership. We discussed the definition of leadership. We discussed ways of understanding leadership. We discussed a number of critical issues as our introductory part. Now, today we look at module 2, theoretical models of leadership. Okay, we look at theoretical modules of leadership, and that is where I want us to begin, and we'll be focusing on that. We'll be discussing on that. We'll be looking at that. So, having said that, let's look at leadership itself. Remember this, and if you're writing down, write this down quickly. Okay. Leadership is the process of influencing others to work hard to accomplish important tasks. The capacity of individuals for leadership is revealed by the amount of influence he or she has over the behavior of performance of other individuals. If the influence is significant, he can be an effective leader. But if the influence is slight, he or she is little or no leadership ability. Let me state this, therefore. Leadership should be a combination of persuasion and compulsion. An example of all three essential elements. So we can talk about this as a very serious centric of leadership. So I will quickly, therefore, look at the theoretical models of effective leadership skills. Theoretical models of effective leadership skills. Now, let me, if you can see what I'm doing here now, is I've put up a diagram there, which is showing us the goal is to produce an effective leader. The goal is to produce an effective leader or leadership effectiveness. Are we together? So now, how do we get here if we have to look at what is happening right now? How do we get to produce an effective leader? How do we get to produce an effective leader? I want you to understand from here that producing an effective leader from this aspect will not just be as easy as we ought to say it. We start with understanding combinations that are needed and combinations that are found in effective leadership. Number one, on top there, the first box there, I hope you can see it. On top there, it's what we call integrative thinking. I will explain further on that. Integrative thinking. Integrative thinking, when we get back to this chart at a later stage, but we'll do definitions as well. So we've got integrative thinking on top there. Secondary, we have got goal commitment. Okay, we've got goal commitment. Thirdly, we've got network structures. Now, I have spoken about integrative thinking, goal commitment, network structure. We are going to look at how these link into producing an effective leader. I'm sure you are following me. We are going to look at how these influence producing an effective leader. Integrative thinking produces what we call decision making. And decision making is what brings us to an effective leader. But it's not just one pillar, okay? It's not just one pillar. We are going to look at that shortly. Therefore, let's go down into our discussion and do the definition of what is then integrative thinking. What is then integrative thinking? Those of you that are students in class, follow through very close, because we will, by the end of the day, send you the notes. But also, thank you, Patricia Banks says I'm taking the notes. Thank you. We are going to bring, at the end of the day, we are going to send all the information into your emails as well. Last week we had some problems with others with difficulties on emails, but we are glad that the whole students that we've got are getting their emails on time now as well. So those that did not get emails last week, if you did not have it through to your WhatsApp line, we will get it to you on your emails again. So what is integrative thinking? Integrative thinking is a field which was originated by Graham Douglas in 1986. He describes integrative thinking as the process of integrating intuition, reason, and imagination in a human mind with the objective of developing a holistic continuum of strategy, tactics, action, review, and evaluation. Let me say that again. Okay? Douglas Graham. Let me be a bit slow. Douglas Graham, 1986. He describes integrative thinking as the process of integrating 1, intuition, 2, reason, 3, imagination. Okay? Let me say that again. Integrative thinking, according to Douglas Graham, Sita Simbua. Thank you very much, Sita. So let's go. I'm saying integrative thinking, Douglas Graham says, he describes this in this way. Number 1, he says, this is a process that has to do with the integration of 1, intuition, 2, reason, 3, imagination. So if I will ask the question to say, can you define integrative thinking? And then you are going to give me just intuition. It means out of 3, you have picked 1. Remember, integrative thinking, you have to understand that it's an integration. Okay, integrating intuition, 1, 2, reason, 3, imagination. Okay, in the human mind. Why? To achieve an objective. To achieve an objective of developing a holistic continuum of what? Of strategy, tactics, action, reveal, and evaluation. So when you look at integrative thinking, the objective is to achieve a continuum, meaning a combination of what? You achieve, number 1, strategy, number 2, tactics, number 3, action, number 4, review, number 5, evaluation. In the military, let me say that again. In the military, integrative thinking is used for ambush of your enemies. The word ambush simply means to go behind or to attack before they see you. So integrative thinking is very key. That is why the people that work in the military, they use integrative thinking more. We have also to appreciate integrative thinking, that it can be applied in business. So if you are a business owner or you are a business leader, you cannot do without integrative thinking. You cannot do without integrative thinking. So whether you are selling chickens or you are selling rabbits, well, what a great time we had yesterday. One of our leaders, who is the first African commercial farmer in rabbit farming, she's part of the institute. We went to supervise a project yesterday, and it was awesome. So whether you are doing small business or large business scale, as long as you are working with people, now you must apply integrative thinking. So let's go on and look at then, how do we achieve integrative thinking? How do we achieve integrative thinking? I want you to follow me very close right now and right away. So number 1, we achieve integrative thinking by determining silence. Okay. Remember, I am going to say these things as conventional thinkers, okay, versus integrative thinkers. So conventional thinkers versus integrative thinkers, we are going to look at that. We will look at the determining silence for conventional thinkers. In determining silence, conventional thinkers, they focus only on obviously relevant features. They focus on obvious relevant features. What are obvious relevant features? Obvious relevant features are features where you have already seen a signal or a sign to say this will be the outcome of what is happening. So they focus on that. Okay, these are called obvious. Let's look at integrative thinkers. Remember now, I'm taking you as a student, as a leader. Okay, obvious simply works with speculations. They are speculate a lot. So you begin to say, okay, I think this is what it has to be. I think this is how it has to be done. So that is obvious. Okay, please master the diagrams that I'm throwing up there. So the obvious are something that everybody looks at. Integrative thinkers, they seek less obvious but potentially relevant factors. Integrative thinkers, they seek less obvious but potentially relevant factors. They look at factors and they say, what are the key factors that can cause this? What are the key factors? Mbalente, thank you so very much. Okay, I'm always looking forward to the class. Thank you. So we have to understand that relevant. They look at they seek less obvious but potentially relevant factors. Potentially relevant factors. Let's look at number 2. How do they analyze casuality? Oh, some workers are always casual, some leaders are always casual. Let's look at analyzing. Okay. If we are to look at analyzing, the conventional thinker on analyzing, a conventional thinker consider one way a linear relationship between variables in which more of A produces more of B. Okay, let me drop that one down again. Conventional thinkers, when it comes to analyzing causality, they consider one way a linear relationship between variables in which more of A produces more of B. Integrative thinkers. So remember, conventional thinker, it's a linear. A linear simply means a straight line, one. Okay. Integrative thinkers, they consider a multi-directional. Integrative thinkers, they consider a multi-directional, a non-linear relationship among variables. Let me explain. Allow me to explain what do I mean there, that they consider multi-directional, a non-linear relationship among variables. The situation is this. Let's say you are working in a production company. I remember my first job when I just finished matric. As a young boy, I worked at Parmalat. Parmalat, it's a company that was a dairy producing company. When I worked at Parmalat, Parmalat had many divisions. I remember I started just as a casual worker. Then they moved me to stores. When I was in the stores department at Parmalat, I learned that stores does not just work as stores. Stores works with the customer care, and at the same time, it works with the clientele. At the same time, it works with the production unit. So, in terms of production, if customer care, for example, from the customer care, there is poor communication with production, then stores will always suffer. Now, I realized at that particular time, working in the stores department, that if you have a relationship only with the production and you don't have a relationship with the customer care, your stores was going to be affected. We were not able to produce as much, we were not able to supply as we ought to. We were not meeting the targets. Why? We were following, if you are following a linear communication or relationship in that regard. A multi-sectoral, which we are encouraging our leaders of integrative thinking to become integrative thinkers. A multi-directional is a non-linear. What does that mean? Multi-directional is when you don't just focus on the routine, but you are able to cultivate a new relation with a new department. You are able to cultivate that. Because if you are able to cultivate that, then you are able to produce. All right. Let's move on to the next one, which is envisioning the decision architectural. Envisioning the decision architectural. Number 3. Let's look at conventional thinkers. Conventional thinkers, they break problems into pieces and work on them separately or consequently. Okay. Or sorry, I said consequently. Sequentially, in sequences. Sorry, you have to pardon me. Conventional thinkers, they break down problems or breaks problem into pieces, and they work on them separately from one after the other. What does that mean? Conventional thinkers, they isolate issues. Let's look at how do integrative thinkers take. Integrative thinkers, they see problems as a they see problems as a whole, examining how the parts fit together, how decisions affect one another. Integrative thinkers, they examine it, they take a holistic approach. They do not isolate the problem. It's like a government. Now, I've got people who are students of politics and people who are working with governments. In government, you must always look at how departments, they are interlinked. Government works with how there is interlinking of one another in order for it to form government. We have got I'll give an example of the Department of Youth and Sport, for example, here in South Africa. Department of Youth is linked to the Department of Small and Medium Enterprises. Okay? Because the youths are the ones that need financial empowerment. Then the small and medium enterprises is the one that determines what kind of businesses need funding. Are we together? Then we've got a department, in other countries are called ministries, okay? Then we've got a department of social development. It's the one that looks after the vulnerables, the women, the youths, and the children. So it's the one that has got the database. So at that particular time, we realize that the Ministry of Youth is the one that is hosting the Youth Indaba. But all these other ministries have to interlink. If there is a breaking in between, it simply means the rest of the ministry or the rest of government is frozen. Government functionality at that particular time is affected. Are we together? That can only be affected by when people don't understand integration of leadership. Let's go back to our diagram. So, we have been defining integrative thinking, how it affects decision making in order for for us to achieve leader effectiveness. What does this mean? This simply means that you as a leader, your decision in the companies is highly affected by the way you reason, the way you solve problems, the way you understand. In the models to come, we will look at a number of programs where you are going to be well equipped on applying thinking beyond what you have thought of once we discuss this whole subject. This model is there to prepare you. But let's look now at the next level, which is called goal commitment. All right. Let's look at goal commitment. If you have got any question, please type it in the private chat so that we can be able to pick up the question. Let's look at goal commitment, because as a leader, you cannot do without having the goals. In management, they teach on goal setting. In management, they teach on how to set goals and how to apply and how to implement the goals. So we are going to look at goal commitment. What is goal commitment? Goal commitment is generally defined as an individual's determination to extend effort towards a goal over time in order to achieve it. This was done by Locke and Latham, 1981 and 1990. Let me read that again. Goal commitment, I hope you are writing down, please write down. Goal commitment is generally defined as an individual's determination to extend an effort towards a goal over time in order to achieve it. Okay. Therefore, we have to look at how then do we get to goal commitment? How do we then get to goal commitment? I want you to follow me right there. Goal commitment, the commitment itself, goals are effective when employees understand and agree upon them. Now, goals are effective when employees understand and agree upon them. Now, here at the African Institute of Leadership and Governance, every fortnight we've got meetings with the board of leaders and directors. And when we have those meetings, we discuss who is doing what, who is going where, and at what particular time. We agree, we disagree, we argue based on policy and principle. We argue based on our academic knowledge and understanding. so that you, the people who are participating in these programs, are enhanced with relevant information, the education that is applicable. So it is at that particular time that there must be effective communication. Do not jump to the next level of decision before agreements are done. As an organization or as a business person or as a worker, as a manager yourself, because remember, we are grooming you as managers. We are grooming you as leaders. You must make sure that when you cast the vision, you share the goal, you must be able to discuss with your workers, with your employees, with your team. Agree, disagree. Never be shy to confront. Confront issues so that when there is now you are setting a goal, there is goal commitment from across the board. What makes production to be slow in a company or in an organization? It's when there is no goal commitment. The goal is credible as long as the employees believe that the goal is consistent with the goal of the company. Let me say that again. The goal is credible as long as the employees believe that the goal is consistent with the goal of the company. So you have the vision there and it is said. So once the vision is said, the workers that come in, I hope that you do give what is called a job description. So in the job description, there is definitions of what there is expected of them and what they ought to do. So it is at that particular time that when the employee sees that it's consistent, they get committed to that. At most of the organization, remember that goal commitment is a challenge. But nevertheless, let's discuss that quickly and look at that. Set the goal, nevertheless. Okay? Even in your, those of you who are watching, those of you who are part of this the class, okay, I hope you can see that. Listen to this. Listen to this. Set the goals, nevertheless. I have been teaching this even to young people that, those that want to get married and those that are married. I always tell people I've been realizing that leadership is everywhere. Set the goal. The word that we speak about is SMART. SMART. SMART has been discussed in your master's programs, in your MBA, in your management studies, in your business administration. Everywhere you find the word SMART. I love these days, my children, they love gadgets, and they have always told me, Daddy, this phone is smart. And most of the time, we look at the word smart from being different kind of things. Smart can mean many things, but let us look at the word smart as in applied leadership. SMART, the first S in acronym, SMART. In acronym, S, we call it specific. Can your goal be broken into smaller steps? Let your goal be broken into smaller steps. Let it be specific. I am a person that loves to cast visions, but somebody used to tell me, hey, can you be more specific? Sometimes people can talk, but you find that somebody's just talking many things. But the issue, the word that we're talking about here is specific. The first smart, the word is in smart, is specific. As a leader, as a manager, set your goals and let your goals be specific. M, the second letter, M, motivational. M, it's motivational. It is emotionally charged. It must be emotionally charged. So you be there and get your team motivated. How do you, let me share nuggets there. How do you motivate your organization? You have this vision, and casting a vision is very big. You cast a vision, but there must be motivation. You must bring in the motivation. It's like a government, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say the government, a politician, because we teach politicians also in here. But let me say this. It's like a politician casting their manifesto and he's saying, when you vote me into power, politicians always speak.
Bluetooth mode.
I'll lower the prices of commodities, fuel, mini meal, rice, wheat, grain. Politicians will always give that. I'll lower the prices. It's the first thing that a politician will give. I'll lower the prices of commodities, number one. Number two, I'll take care of the poor. That's how we politicians speak. I'll take care of the poor. The third one that we always give is that I will improve. Then you capitalizes on the weaknesses of your opponent. Okay? That's how politicians speak. You capitalize on that. Now, then the people vote you into office. Okay? I'm talking about motivation here. Because some of you are working in an organization where you'll be promoted after this course, or maybe you'll be given that opportunity to save at a higher level. So now you are taken there. Okay? Now you are taken there. One of my friends was promoted last week as a director general of some organization, of some parastatal. Now, she was looking for this thing. Now you are there. Then when you are there, you find that the reality is not what you were promising your people. You must keep your people motivated. So don't come and tell the people that all of a sudden when the people are excited, you discover, the prices of grain that you had promised the people that you're going to reduce the price. You find that the commodities, because of natural causes, are going up. Then the people don't understand the macroeconomics versus the microeconomics. The people don't understand that because a common man on the company or on the ground cannot understand your macro involvement, that your GDP is influenced by 1, 2, 3 things. They may not understand. All of a sudden, you just find that your promises are working. The reality is working against your promises. All of a sudden, the prices of fuel is going up globally. The prices of grain is going up globally. And you have just been elected into power, and you had promised your citizens that you will reduce the price of fuel. Then now the prices of fuel are going up globally, and you're already a leader. You know what happens? Immediately, the motivation of the people goes down. Here is a secret. Free of charge, Grace Mwanza. How do you then keep them motivated? Don't publish this thing to everybody. Just yours, those of you in class. Listen to this. How do you motivate them? You get up as a leader. You don't bury your head in the sand. You get up as a leader. You create an activity for your company or for your country. If you are a president, you create an activity for your country or for your company that will excite them emotionally. That is why you are in this course. That will excite them emotionally so that they shift the focus from the problem that you are dealing with, because you are still busy dealing with that issue. And if you don't create a sentimental, emotional excitement for your community, they will revolt. If it is in South Africa where we are right now, what will happen? We toy. We go to the street and do bang, 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 bang. And we kick you out of the office because you are proving to us that you are not working. So what do? We create an emotion. You charge the situation, emotionally charged, so the people remains motivated towards the goal. So therefore, do you have the energy to carry out the goal? Do you have the energy, the vibration? You see, you do have the vibration to carry out the goal. Because if you don't have the energy to carry out the goal, what will happen is that the people will lose motivation. You will fail to achieve your objectives. You will fail to achieve the goal. All right. We are looking at the word SMART as setting the goal. A. So we have done S is specific, M is motivation. We are now on A. A is accountability or accountable. As an organization, don't exist on your own. We just spoke about integrative thinking. For us, as an institution, that's why we are interlinked with a lot of other organizations and institutions which are at par and higher than where we are coming from. But so that we can achieve the goal. Our goal is to produce the best of the Africans academias, the best of the African thinkers, the best of the African leaders. That's our goal. So how do we do that? We bring in the cream of the lecturers, the cream of the professors on our team and on our platform. Why do we do that? So that there is accountability. Can your goal be tracked and accounted for? Can your goal be tracked and accounted for? Or you are just doing things haphazardly? As a leader, you must always have what we call M and E's, monitoring and evaluation. Of every project that you introduce, there must be aim and ease, monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation will also create accountability checks. In business, they call it checks and balances. You know, checks and balances. So there must be accountability checks. You must be available and to be accountable. Like our students, you have seen that we are committed. If you miss the lesson, we always call you, we write to you, we email you, and we tell you you missed the lesson. Here is your link. Here is your lessons. If you did not attend the class, we tell you did not attend. If you miss 5 lessons, we tell you you have missed. What happens? We repeat you. Why? It's accountability. We want to make sure you are accountable. You report when you are not available, so we know that you are part and parcel of the team. We are accountable. Others have got financial challenges when they are starting. Others, they don't. Others, they are struggling. Others, they're not. So what we do, those with financial challenges, we sit down with them and create a modality which becomes flexible for them to make payments. Why? For example, there are countries like Kenya where for them to pay through the bank, they were complaining that the charges are too high, but they have got what they call M-Pesa. M-Pesa, it's a mobile app. And we had to get into there and create an M-Pesa account. We had Zambia was struggling to make payments because of the dollar account is too expensive. We went into Zambia, created a mobile app. The students are finding it easy. They can just go in, deposit, and it reflects to our link. We did that for Zimbabwe, Mukuru accounts. We opened all those things. Why? So that we create an atmosphere that we are accountable. Accountability is very important. We are talking about setting goals. The R in the word smart, the R in the word smart, the R in the word smart is responsible. Responsible. Will it cost you friends? Will it cost you friends? Respect from family. Okay. Your integrity. Is it easy to respond to changes if required? Let's look, what are some of the responsibilities that you are going to encounter? So you must look at the responsibility when you are setting the goals. Will it cost you friends? What about the respect from family? Your integrity? Is it easy to respond to changes if required? Let's look at that. Very critical. It is very important as a leader when we are looking at goal commitment and how to set the goal, that they must be specific, they must be motivational, it must be accountable, then responsible. The last one, T, touchable. Touchability. What will you have to hold as a completed result? What do you have to hold as a completed result? There must be touchability. You must be able to touch it. Is it something touchable? Is it something that you will say, wow, guys, we have achieved the goal? So you look at the goal commitment and then you will say, guys, we had this in mind, and therefore we have now achieved A, B, C. Let's go back to the diagram that I'm looking at. So we spoke about integrative thinking, decision making. Then it brings us to leader effectiveness. We are on goal commitment. The goal commitment has given us ability to motivate in order to produce effective leaders. Now, let's look at the more complicated part, and it will be the last part of our discussion for today in our module lecture 2 that we are looking at. Structure. What is network structure? Network structure. Remember that I have shared this in this discussion where we have looked at these important words. We started with integrative thinking, goal commitment, and now we are looking at network structure. Network structure. This one is more complex and complicated. Network structure is more complex and complicated because network structure has to do with different organizations, interlinking, personal skills, public relations. Also, we've got public display. So all these are found in network structure. Let's define network structure. A network structure is a network structure is the one in which more than one organization combine to produce a good and produce a good or provide a service. I was looking at a bottle of water. But I am not going to look at the bottle of water now. I will show you this. I hope that you can see it close. Let me try to do that from this perspective. All right, I'm holding, okay, let me hold it from here. I already took something out from there. This is a packet of a painkiller called Discipline. It's a Discipline painkiller or tablet that is in here. When we look at this, we don't necessarily eat this thing as it is like this. We open it. You will pardon me, I have to open it. We open it and we've got two things in my hands. Now, we are talking about network structure here. Now, you will see that this now becomes useless. This becomes important. Now, watch this. This is the packet. The company that makes this is not the same as the company that makes this. This company is made by a pharmaceutical company. This is made by a packaging company. But we cannot take this to the market as it is. We need this company. Now, you see that if I get closer, on this company, on this packaging, there's a lot of writings on it. This entails us that there is also a branding company involved in this. That tells us that since there is a branding company involved in this, there are more than 3 or 4 companies involved. That is the reason why. When we look at network structure, we are looking at organizations combine to achieve one goal or to produce a service. One is dealing with packaging, one is dealing with medicine itself, one is dealing with the distribution, one is dealing with marketing. What does that mean? All your organization must maintain a certain standard of excellency. There must be a certain standard of excellency, because if you drop from one level of excellency to the other, it means that the whole supply chain is broken. So you must have similar objectives. You must have similar goals. You must have similar attributes. These organizations can either get into a partnership for a particular venture, or one organization can hire others to handle one or more of its functioning. This is called outsourcing. Don't ever think you can produce everything by your own if you want to achieve a certain level of leadership in your organization. There must be always outsourcing, single sourcing, networking. The word is you must develop a network structure. You must develop a network structure. Link yourself to similar organizations and similar people that are doing certain kind of businesses. Let's go. I want us to look at that diagram there. Example of network structure, which I've given you there. Here is an example of the network structure. We have got at the center there, if you can see there, core focuses on product development and marketing. There it is. We've got on the side there, manufacturing company. So it begins from there. We have the manufacturing company, which is bringing in all kinds of things. Then we've got research and lab testing. We've got the places where your products are being researched and they are being tested in the lab. Then we've got information technology and services, which will involve your marketing and all that. Then we've got marketing firm. So when you look at this, you see the network marketing. Here is your question. When you are producing potatoes, list a number of companies. What companies do you need in order for your potatoes to be on the market? You can find that you need a seed company there, fertilizer company there. You will have the market company. You will have the stores where the consumers are found. This is called a network structure. We have got copper produced in Zambia. It's sent out into China for processing. So you can see Zambia, China is being linked. It has to be brought back to Zambia as cables. It needs South Africa for the port. Okay. It needs Zambia again for your cables. So you see South Africa, you see China, then you find that these presidents, they are working together to achieve a certain objective. Allow me to, I'm not sure if you can be able to hear me. Let me try to use my headset so that I can conversate there with those of you that have attended. We had about 7 people in different classrooms today. Okay, 8. I can still see some people. All right. Who have, it's very interesting with technology. You can see as if you're talking to yourself, and yet there are people that are everywhere. All right. Madam, okay. Shita is saying excellent. Brenda is saying lead learning. Mbalente is saying I'm looking forward. Madam Mwanza, any feedback on your side? Can you hear me? If you are mute on your microphone, you can just speak. Then I'm going to hear. Do you have any question?
I don't have any question. I've enjoyed this lesson. I've got you clear today.
All right. Are we progressing? Are you feeling progressive?
Yes, we are progressing.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So we've got others that are commenting on the private our lectures chat, who we just respond to them on that. I want to encourage you that if you have got any challenges, and okay, let me just end the other classes. Just hold on, don't hang out. Let me just end the other classes from the other platform. Okay, guys, those of you who are on the other platform, our lesson ends now. And those of you attending the Saturday session, you are welcome. Then tonight at 8 p.m. South African time, we see some of you together with the leadership team, and Professor Didier will be taking us into the political science and also understanding politics on the African context. Next week, we have got special lecturers that are coming on to look at change management. Professor Trust from UK will also be taking us in some sessions. All right, guys. So those of you, I'll see you. Let me chat with my students from Zambia. I just want to chat with my student from Zambia. Thank you.